Welcome to the Real Double Dose Channel broadcast station, focused on the real reels of real life, love, growth, and of course, elevation within all levels. RDDC is exactly the place where anyone can discover more depth, love, light, and clarity within themselves, and elevate from other people's walks of life, conversations, and questions, along with deeper insights. So tune in and be a part of the Double Doses with Lexus T and RDDC.
Hello and welcome back to the Real Double Dose channel. This is your host Lex, coming at you straight from the heart where the talk is real and the vibe is always live. Like we always say, for anything under the sun, questions, show requests, you know how we do. Go over to Real Double Dose channel at yandex.com. That's Real Double Dose channel at yandex, yandex.com. And as well as check out realdoubledosechannel.com as well. That's right, www.realdoubledosechannel.com. Insights, our webinar release. We got Hector Rivera, all kinds of stuff going on. If you haven't heard his Heck versus Hell episodes and different ones and more syndicates to come, we've been talking about this for a while, but it's going to be rolling out for everyone. Not to mention spiritandmindelevation.com. We see you hitting it. We see the love and just the information alone. I mean, there's wonderful things there you guys can check out. There's even a few awesome catalogs we have on the RDDC.com as well as Spirit and Mind Elevation. And we are also Flip the Switch. That's Flip the Switch. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it going. But I want to tell you, I miss you all. I miss you very, very much. And I'm happy that you've been along for the journey and you still keep staying strong. You know, no matter what, you keep doing your journey. And that's what I love about all my RDDC familians and my RDDC FDS familians and Spirit of Mind Elevation familians as well. It's all a branch of a circle of a whole. But in my retrospect of how I like to speak, and Hector and I, and different ones, even my family in Colombia, different ones. I've tried to learn my Taslagi and my ancient Hebrew, the beautiful ancient Hebrew language of my mother's, tribe down in Alabama, Ichota. Shout out. I just want to say pero, that's my favorite word, pero, which means, like but, not like e, but that's my Spanish. I wanted to be able to speak to everyone and have a conversation of the mind to kind of go into things. So if you haven't noticed, a lot of our things right now have been about the TAGR, which is the Spirit and Mind Elevation. And that's basically more of an insight into Napoleon Hill's inspiration, inspired by Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. So, and it's execution style, basically how to get the meats and potatoes from it. It's amazing. And it definitely gets you to the point of where you shouldn't. It's very, very broadly well known. Some people have Think and Feel Rich, different ones they come out on. But this was a masterclass course that leads into a training course, should I say. That's phenomenal. And as I was going through it with Hector and I, we were kind of thinking about more so things that happened in that journey. And when I came across it with Angela, primarily in the beginning, I was thinking to myself, okay, yeah, I remember Think and Grow Rich. Oh, yeah, I remember the books. I ordered a couple of them, read them a few times. And I was thinking to myself, where did it start? And I was having a thought-provoking conversation with Hector, as it always has been. And one of the guest co-hosts, if you're not familiar, if you're still new here, Hector Rivera is the guest co-host, and I say that, of different episodes of the Real Double Dose channel. And not to mention, we've also opened up his conversations for, at least we're trying to hit every Friday or Viernes right now. And we're going to have some Spanish episodes in there too. Don't worry, we haven't forgot about our family. We haven't forgot about the family, okay? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm about to say 7 times out of 10, we're not speaking English off of here. But when it comes down to it, yes, I love my lingos. But it was a conversation that we had, and I was thinking to myself, one of my really close, I adore my native brothers who really helped me through the journey of a lifetime when I was in California. And it was really deep, from the abuse and all the craziness I went through at an adult level this time, and especially over 2,000 something miles away from home. And people always ask me, well, what, can you tell me more? Well, yeah, the spirit, the illumination of self are different things that we need to come and go through each other in life and fulfill. And also, there's things that are going through our lives that this book is about to be released. And I've been talking about it for a few years now, but it's going to be happening by the grace of the creators of all things. So I just wanted to say that I want to take a chapter right now. And this is going to be called hashtag the extraction. Now, I do want to say for all of you, because I kind of skipped that over, but I've been saying it for so long. But if you haven't, thank you for tuning in from TuneIn, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker.com, Google Cast, Podcast, Podchaser, Deezer. I can't even go down iTunes, iHeart, SoundCloud. Like it's phenomenal. I can't name all 15, 16 of them or 17 at this point. It's really hard. But if you're out there, which we see you analytically and in the heart and emails or just shout outs, I love you all. Yes, that's what is happening, and we're working on the TikTok. Hello to you from TikTok. Yeah, new coming in, I see you. And also the YouTube families that are about to start rolling out even more. We're trying, we're getting there. Everything's a work in progress. But this is called hashtag the extraction. Okay, this is the Think and Grow Rich episode part, and you had the other one Samantha was on, but this is the part 2, and my voice is not as calm, but this is something that I believe will help you open up the chapters even more, not into just the journey of Lex or Ari, but maybe, and obviously taking a slice of your life too. I'm going to try to make it short, sweet, and simple, but just enough to give you smiles and crack you a dimple. I'm just saying, it's not so simple. Okay, I had to rhyme. But I wanted to talk about the Think and Growing Rich part. When I had opened that book up in California, it was something he told me, just order the book. You won't be disappointed. It's something you could read. I'm like, I'm not really into thinking and growing rich. I don't want to grow rich, I'm not thinking about money right now. I'm dealing with an abusive situation, platonically as it was, even face to face with the devil, dancing with him, didn't even know what you're getting into over 2,000 something miles away. And that was not the initial cause of the journey. Oh yeah, it definitely gives you a whirlpool. So I remember ordering the book when I was in California, and I was kind of anticipating it, because at that point right now, the male figure that I had in my life, as far as being that from my cousin at that point where I was clinging on to more so, his words meant a lot to me, and I was still, basically tortured by the words of another so-called man. So I had basically went to a point of trusting and saying, you know what, let me get this book. And I ordered it. And I remember the landlord of those beautiful mini mansion-like homes came to me and, hey, because she had the box, whatever. And I didn't want the key to it, because I was like, well, if anything happens or loses anything, I don't want to be responsible for that. But she went down and grabbed it and said, hey, here's your book. And I remember when I got it, I was like, ooh, fresh pages. What's about to be so unfolding in this book? He wanted me to get so bad. And as I read it, I'm like, okay, my mind kind of wanted to drift away. We have the consciousness where we're always trained to like be done with it or need a like or follow or save, or it's always that what do you call that? The endorphins or something? The little trigger points we like to get, the little highs we like to get off of stuff. Your mind doesn't want to slow down, especially now. Everything wants to be done in 30 seconds or less. People's attention spans, and hopefully the people that I know have confidence listening to this podcast will understand that it does take time to focus. How can we say we need time with those we love, or we want someone to spend time with us, or our children or our loved ones, and we can't even spend a good 10 minutes, sometimes even 5 minutes, even focusing on anything? I mean, come on. I'm just saying. So that was really leading on to the book. And after I got the book, I was sitting there looking at it, and I read through the pages. I remember texting him saying, man, I got the book. He was like, okay, now take your time reading it. And even in the book of Napoleon Hill, the late Napoleon Hill, the book Think and Grow Rich, he says you might need to read it a few times, and you need to read a little bit, like a chapter or so, a few pages per day, and kind of let it marinate. And he was right about that, because even reading it a second time, I was like, man, because he says he's going to drop the key foundation in the book. And basically a lot of people come up with saying, oh, this is what the key principle is and so forth, but really everyone has a variation, just like they read the Bible. Okay, you read whatever you see as a very deep book. You might read something about the conundrum, whatever. Everyone's perspective and perception is going to grab a nugget or a piece of gold quote out of that book, even if it's not what the quote writer is saying or what other people may view. Either way, that led on to different things. And as I was reading it and speaking to my cousin, I still had my hands, and I'll get into that some other time too, but my extraction from this is I was still having my hands connected to the person that was making me sick. Now, at the end of the day, that person was sicker in many ways than we could actually imagine. I'll go into that in depth later on. Now, jumping back to this, it's almost like even though I had that good positivity, the good rapport, the good senses of what I was reading, I couldn't really keep my focus because I still was allowing this throbbing toothache. Okay, I'm going to call it a toothache because, and I'm just going to say, blessed be my wonderful, beautiful mother of 77 years now, 77 years old, years young, is going to be having her tooth extraction, which is, I think, the molar, which makes me a little bit more on edge. So if you hear me a little bit more on edge, just because I get like that, especially after her head injury, I kind of get more of that motherly sense over my mom. Even though I'm the last of five, I still am the first to be there and do stuff. I'm just kind of, I got to go there with her at about an hour and a half. So I'm a little bit more, a little bit more on the cautious side of my nerves and dealing with certain anxieties and stuff, attacks triggering every once in a while. But that's another conversation as well. That's just mostly anxiousness anyway. So, but I remember the extraction was getting that point and saying, how can I apply these principles? How can I get to where I need to mentally and emotionally when I'm constantly allowing this person to sit there? This one person who I looked at as almost a god or some deity for some reason at the time. Obviously this was several years ago, but it's a little over about 8 years ago, maybe. But it's still, the lingering and lasting effects is still in the conversation right now in 2023 and beyond. So I look at that and I'm thinking, man, how can I look at it from this point? My mother's going in to have her abscess or whatever they call it, tooth removed. She's been having pain with it for a while, throbbing, taking Oragel. Hashtag, this is not nothing towards Oragel. Okay, this is not no sponsorship. Pero, I'm just going to say, moving on. It's just the point where I'm like, man, she was trying to calm it down, numbing her gums out, gargling, mouth washing, taking her amoxicillin or whatever, just getting ready for the prep of the surgery and leading on to it, the extraction today. It's like, you think about all that. When I had my molar removed, it split in four because the pressure I bit down on my jaw after my sister passed away was so intense, knowing that I was never going to be able to touch her again. Before my brother even passed away 2 months after that. So I had split my molar in four, and the dentist was in shock. But I remember I didn't really feel too much pain off of that because I was already in so much other pain. But moving back to the extraction itself is, what is it in our thinking and growing rich and feeling rich process that we have that is like a bad toothache, right? The toothache that seems to never go away, and then we don't want to deal with the dentist that can take it away. We get the horror stories or the feeling, but I think mostly too because it's in the jawline, which is very sensitive, and you have the needle experience, and you have all the numbing cream, and your mouth feels all weird. You got eating restrictions. Your sinuses may swell up and feel differently. It's a lot of stuff that comes along with it. So when you hear dentists, I know some good dentists that make me feel like I was just sitting in a spa. It was a mind over matter thing, really. But when you think about it, let's put it in retrospect. The dentist in this hand is, for example purposes only, is the creator and the creators of the universe, creators of the universe. And they're getting to a point, or even the helpers that come in between, that get to a point to say, look, you got this throbbing tooth that's just aching in your mouth as you're trying to think, grow, and feel rich and become it. Now, beyond rich itself doesn't have to be money in the pocket, doesn't have to be certain fields of what materialistic value is, but richness overall, the feeling of being abundantly free and happy to where you can be, not from the world standards or not from comparison, but where you deserve to be, right? In some great retrospect or another. The extraction comes from, are we allowing that extraction to happen though? What comes along with it?
Please listen to this special announcement. For the past few months, our DDC and Flip the Switch have been working on something amazing for your spiritual, mental, and emotional growth that can be brought into your physical worlds. And that is the FDS Think and Grow Rich Execution Style Masterclass, which doors are now open. Not only will you gain the clarity, insight, and blueprint form of what you need, along with the enlightenment you've been waiting for, but we are also rewarding you beyond your wildest dreams. That is definitely right. Rewarding you for not only taking the first step into creating a new life and new vision for yourselves and those connected to you, but also rewarding you with an excursion to live out your new hopes and dreams, to rewrite the chapters from your newfound level of life, all while relaxing and enjoying the moment where someone actually spoils you for you taking the initiative to change the game upon your own journey. So, if you want to find out more, we'll have a link provided on all our broadcast channels as well as our blog spot and www.realdoubledosechannel.com so you can get all the insights on how to sign up and get started today. And if you're a business influencer, entrepreneur, or anything under the sun that serves others, you might also want to check this out as well. So you can offer these special packages to give to your clients, friends, customers, students, and loved ones. We'll see you on the flip side. And now back to your favorite show with the RDDC's Double Dose wonderful broadcast channel.
You're sitting here like, oh man, toothache, I want to get it out, but I don't want to deal with the pain. Do I really want to deal with the pain? I mean, oh, it's going to be needles and this. Oh my, right? But we're not thinking about the long-term effects. The pain that you got to go through putting the numb cream and the numbing mouthwash on. The aches and cold air that rushes through that just makes it hurt even more from your nerves in your mouth. And then you think about all the stuff that comes along with an infection. Possibly, God forbid, anything else happening to where it could be sepsis or something in your bloodstream that happens from it, because it needs to be removed at that point. It's no longer going to fit into the norm of what you thought was. And sometimes we wonder, like my mother said, well, how did that happen? It's like all of a sudden I ate something a little hard that day. Next minute you're going into the dentist 2 days later and you have an abscess that needs to be removed. So sometimes we need things to shake up the ground and kind of pinpoint that there is a problem. There you go. Now we have an abscess here. Well, I never know there was one. Well, because we've been trying to hide it and disguise it until all of a sudden it just takes one hard peanut, one hard chip, one hard something to shake it off the ground to where it was already ready to be removed. The extraction point comes from also being a part of those who have nothing to do with being a part of us. Why are we so concerned about going to, quote, the creators, or the simple modified version is the freedom that lies within, right? Having my cousin be there was also a principle of the creator sending that God force into my life to say, look, you won't necessarily listen to me because you might can't want to connect. I had to die spiritually and die daily. You might not want to connect because of those things. But I'm going to send someone in your life that means nothing but harm in any kind of way from anything except something that harms you and wants the best for you. So in that retrospect, I thought, oh, I don't want to just learn about finances. He's like, no, think and grow rich. I can't speak to you on the level you need to, so maybe quieting your mind and reading this book will help you. So that's how it has to do with the Think and Grow Rich execution style training. Is basically getting you all the nuts and bolts that the late Napoleon Hill inspirational book had, but it's also getting it to you so you don't have all day to sit there and kind of go through it. You, by all means, go ahead and read the book on your own time. But it gets you to that point to where you can have those things solidified and kind of understand what you can grab of value and the extra goodies that you can, and also setting you up with, basically releasing the passion, understanding the manifestational journey, and having all the deep extra bonuses and everything else, not to mention free travel giveaway. Yes, right, I said it. The free travel giveaway. We're actually rewarding those who go through the Think and Grow Rich Masterclass training, the FDS and RDC, of course, Masterclass training, with a free vacation valued at almost $3,000. And the only thing you got to cover is taxes and fees, which will equivalent no more than like $30-something to $20-something, sometimes as low as $18. And I'm sorry, but we can give you a whole cheat sheet on how to relax, how to have a good time in whatever place you're going, and how to do it on a baller on a budget to where you still can enjoy the vacation, eat good, chill out, and have a good old time. It's not all about fancy restaurants and popping $500 bottles. But at the end of the day, if you can't handle a couple taxes and fees for about $20-$30 for a $3,000 free vacation, then maybe you should rethink that a little bit. I'm just saying, you got to level up to level up. So off of that, I just wanted to put that out there as well. But I think it's important for this. Hector was talking to me and told me, right along with Angela in different conversations, but it took Hector to really spark it up in me. He said, maybe you need to just talk about stuff more going on with what's going on with the journey that you took. And I remember I've always felt connected to everyone and having our subjects for the conversation and even freestyling it. And I'm like, let me tell my friends and families, RDC families, the journeys that I've taken, and let me start with that before my spiritual death and 3 days of death on that bed. So yeah, this is a little part for part two. It's not a huge piece. I wanted to get to the extraction, and obviously I have to go help my mother get to her extraction. But I'm gonna get on here. Maybe it'll be a part two, but we'll go into part two, part three. We'll get some conversations, but make sure you check out the links that are in the. If you can't find them on the blog spot or wherever you're going, we'll update them. go over to the SoundCloud page. If you're not in any of our episodes, you should be able to see all of our the Goddess Lexus T, different ones on TikTok, different avenues overall. We're going to make sure we have them out there. So you can just check out our different channels of nuggets and jewels that we drop from different syndicates, differently from what we may have on the broadcast, but you guys get the fuller gist of it. So overall, what the extraction is, eventually when we go and get to the foundation of what was sent to us to be able to remove that and get that out of our mouth, get that out of our system, what happens? Yeah, the pain, the irritation might happen when it happens, but once it's out, a little pressure, a little pulling, maybe a little pain here and there, whatever, it happens. Then we're sitting here like, ooh, we got a gaping hole in our mouth a little bit. But the body's designed to heal that, you see? The body's designed to send the antibodies and everything it needs to clot it out, to be able to do that. The dentist can only do so much, and they put their gauze and tell you what to do for the regimen, and therefore not to get dry socket. And over the next few days and few weeks, you start feeling more healed and more healed. You're cautious of what you eat now, what you're putting in your body and what you're chewing with your teeth. And then you get to a point where you're saying, okay, it's been like a month. I'm good. I don't even remember the toothache barely. Because every time we felt something, we could say, okay, I remember that feeling, but we really don't feel it in that depth. That's the same way I felt when my sister passed away. It was so intense. I mean, for at least almost first year and a half, it was just so super intense. Then my brother right after. And then that's not to mention my dad and my uncle and all the tios and uncles and people before and in between. But after a while, it didn't subside to the memory, but the deepness and richness of the craziness of pain burning inside of me did calm down. Just like you eat something spicy, eventually you're going to get used to it. No matter how much your nose runs or your eyes may burn or whatever, it's still going to be to the point where you get a little bit more used to it, to where it's not going to be so prominently there unless you kept upping your spice levels, But overall, that's what I want to get to the conversation of, is the extraction. When I was not thinking and growing rich, even when I had the book in my hand, even when I had God leading me, when I had God putting people strategically there, I had to see the forest from the trees. I had to want that for myself. And a lot of people now want to blame it on everything else, but they don't ever want to take responsibility for those things that are happening. You have to go ahead and do that, because the extraction is not going to happen unless you want it to. Just like if you have a festering wound, you're going to keep letting it get infected and pussing, excuse my language if it's too disgusting. Disclaimer, sorry about that. But or pre-warning, should I say. But you're not going to keep sitting there. You're like, man, I'm starting to feel ill. I'm starting to feel sick. It's not good for me. What's the point? You rather deal with the whole lifetime of pain and infection and trouble and just having your system turn up because you're too fearful of about an hour of something that completely drastically changed the trajectory of your life? Clean your system out? Hashtag the extraction is about the problems that we hold on to that need to be extracted. And I already have a solution. Like I said before many a times, the solution is always created as the problem is formed. The problem can't be formed without a solution. There's always going to be one. Now, we might not like the variables, but there's always going to be one. And people say, well, I've invested so much of this. I invested so much time. And how do you think I felt? That was thousands of dollars later, not finding out that person had a problem with drugs and different stuff. And don't get me wrong, I've been through the game on all kinds of flip sides out there. So that's not to say he's the only person or that person. But that's of investments of dealing with that. I'm like, And then I had to ask myself, why do you feel like this is the only thing that's the best for you? Why do you feel like this is the best that you deserve? No matter what you did in the past or what you feel is strong enough, nothing is going to send something in to be even worse upon your life. If it is for a moment and you feel like karma, quote, served its time, let it go. But don't let the extraction of distraction hurt you in the long run. Don't let the fear of an extraction be your cause of death. And I mean that in every facet under the sun. If I would have sat there and let that person hurt me as much as they were hurt themselves, if I would have sat there and let them do whatever they wanted to, even more than the craziness that I went through already, if I would have let them completely become the spirits of all hell break loose, I wouldn't have been here right now speaking to everyone. I wouldn't have heard the feedback on people's lives changing. I wouldn't have been able to heal and touch the lives that the Creator's allowed me to. And I wouldn't be able to have the blessings of abundance. I mean, even my partnerships with some of the biggest name, and I'll let you guess here until you get to our other private event, but the biggest name in the biggest commerce platform, period. What is the biggest name that you hear all over that is one of the top billionaires and people that basically rule this industry? And I know you can think about it. Hint, hint, it starts with the A. Don't let the zon go away. But anyways, we'll talk about that soon. But it's just about allowing the flow. And the times I've had hiccups, the times I disappeared, the times I bounced back, I look at it like, you know what? Like Angela says, you keep swinging, Lex. It doesn't matter if you keep missing the ball or not, you keep hitting. It doesn't matter if you go to sleep for a while and you have to wake back up, but you keep coming back and you still spread the water around your seeds. Now, of course, some might need a cup, some may need a gallon, but you still make sure you sprinkle something on them. Now, that's a good thing, but at the same time, it's also bad because it means I'm not focusing enough water on the seeds that are going to help completely keep everything flourished, but we're getting those things worked out. So hashtag the extraction is allow what needs to be cut out of your life and your system, whether it be a quote habit of time management, a person, anything that you feel like. For me, I want to get on a healthier journey, not to look like a certain way with somebody or quote wannabe video vixens or Instagram wannabe stories. I look at the fact where I'm like, I told my nieces the same thing. I want to feel good from the inside of what I can from what's not chemically altered, even in the quote healthy space. I want to feel good on that level. I want to feel more vibrationally clear. And even though depression or just comfort foods, different things come in, I'm not saying that's going to be gone. That might be a once a month thing. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, there's certain triggers that I want to do to better overall myself inside internally. Then we'll work on the outside. So hashtag the extraction. I want my mom to have the best extraction she can today, but that's all about fueling the system, getting better, getting to the point of where we're ready to cut the ties with everything that keeps us doing the same thing of insanity, going through the same problems, the problemas that exist beyond the mind, not letting go of those who hold power, who are not powerful. I mean, look at that. Look at yourself. I mean, I had to look at myself as a chump and say, man, really? Are you this sad that you have to have someone come over here and dictate when you can get on the phone, when you can drink water, when you can even breathe? Yeah, it's bad. I'm telling you, it was way bad. Childhood was bad, but this is bad too. So, and you're kind of wondering, Lex, you went through all this? Yes. For most of you, when you hear different things like that, just remember, hashtag the extraction is about letting it get rid of itself and also helping it get rid of itself. Not holding on to the things that are aching and throbbing in our mouths, our lives overall in a general sense. And we're thinking that a solution is going to come from this infectional problem. All it's going to do is continue to get worse. And if you need some advice or counsel or whatever on that, make sure you reach out to us as well, or the 1-800-SUICIDE hotline number, or any conversation that you need that you feel you need some help with getting out of that. We'll send you the resources and guide you in the right direction if we can't do it ourselves. And just never feel stuck. Never feel like you can't get out of it. Never feel like you're in a place to where the extraction can happen. There's always a way out. And I wish, and everything I love, I wish I could bring my sister back to let her know these things that she should have known. But her way out was the way she wanted to. And sometimes, sadly enough, we can't change that for people. Okay, we're not there to force change. We're there to guide the change that is still there, open people's eyes to it. But hashtag the extraction is, don't let not thinking and growing rich execute your life in the wrong way. Flip the switch. Get to it. Change it. Do it. Don't sit there and complain about where the economy is going. Get ahead of the economy. There's still one going on. Even if everybody had $3 to spend, be the person to sit there and have that 50-cent item that they still can afford. Whatever you want to do, make it happen. And if you're going to be about change, start the change yourself. Don't sit there and talk about something you're not willing to do. Hashtag the extraction is about more than me, more than them. It's about you. Right? So this is your girl Lexus T, coming back on here. I'm happy to be with you all. You're going to hear more of me, I promise. And hopefully some wonderful guest experts again, and having them come on at a regular reoccurrence because they are phenomenal from the past. Hashtag Dr. Yam and all of them. I want to say Kathy Tuckerow. Yeah, Suzanne Zumo. The different ones out here. Kennedy. I'm sorry. I can't remember that, but I know her name was Wonderful Kennedy. I can't get it on my tongue right now because I'm trying to get on the beat because Tony's telling me to get off the beat. So I love you all. You're amazing. Remember to be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of that spirit. Hashtag flip the switch in your life. Do something. Tell the double doses, and we'll see you on the flip side. And I'll be back with you very, very, very soon.